Obviously, the less people you have involved in a creative project, the more skills you as a filmmaker are going to need to possess. It's a bit of a scale. If you have no people, then you have to have all of the skills to be able to make a film by yourself. And it's going to be your job to scout and secure locations, to either acquire or maintain the gear that you're either renting or that you own. It's going to be your job to make sure that you have everything you need before you set out to the location or to the studio or whatever that you're making your movie. You're going to have to be responsible for every single thing that happens. And this means multitasking while you're shooting your movie. You might be holding a boom pole while operating the camera, while pulling focus, making sure that the camera's actually recording and all the settings are right and all your sound settings are right and that you're getting clean audio and you're directing actors. In some cases, I've actually been on location with my actors and I have had to hold a boom pole while operating the camera, while directing the actors, and I've had the sides for that shoot taped to my tripod, and I'm reading with my actor because the other actor playing opposite characters couldn't come out that day, and we shot their part of that scene previously, and we needed to go and do the reverse because we ran out of time at that particular location, or the circumstances changed and the sound became too bad to continue, and we couldn't bring the one actor back to read lines. So I'm reading lines with my actor while doing sound, while operating the camera, while making sure like my stuff isn't stolen. It's a lot to keep track of, and it's a lot of multitasking. It could be mentally exhausting going through this process. And if you don't possess some of those skills, then approaching your film as a learning opportunity is a great way to take that on, because I have found that taking tutorials and practicing certain post-production techniques and stuff without the purpose of a storytelling drive underneath that, propelling my ambitions forward through tutorials and through the learning process, I find that I become unmotivated if there isn't a project associated with a learning opportunity. So I try to approach each film as a learning opportunity and not go into a project so confident that I know how to do everything, because I don't. I possess a lot of skills in the filmmaking process purely from experience, having gone through these things before. So for everybody, there is a point where you're not sure how it's going to turn out and you kind of have to just take the leap. And if you have a project kind of underneath propelling you through this learning process, I find that it's far more motivating than just kind of working on tutorials and like practicing on like kind of test clips and dummy files and stuff. I like to be telling a story through the learning process, and there's no better way to learn filmmaking than to make films. Another tip that I have for making a film by yourself is you're going to need some muscles. And I know that that might sound kind of strange or funny, but I'm really not joking. Filmmaking requires a lot of stuff, and some of that stuff can be very heavy. You might have sound bags and tripods and camera batteries and equipment and accessories, and maybe you're carrying wardrobe, and maybe you're carrying props and or set design elements, all this type of stuff. I've made a lot of my films in the city, and I've had to schlep all of my gear around by myself on public transit through turnstiles and down into subway stations and onto trains and off of trains and then onto buses and off of buses, and I need to like transfer and I need to like babysit all my gear while I'm doing it. By the time I get to my set, or by the time I get to my location, I'm already totally drenched in sweat and exhausted from the process of having to like carry all of this like heavy filmmaking gear to the location, because I don't have a car and I live in a large city and I get around by using public transit. So carrying all this stuff around requires a level of stamina, because chances are you're going to be tired by the time you get to set, and then you need to schlep all this stuff back home after, and then in my case I'm like working the next day. So it could be a very, very tiring process. You want to make sure that you're in good physical and mental shape before you start making a film, particularly a feature-length film, because this is going to be an endeavor. You really want to make sure that you're hitting the gym and you're eating right and you're staying well hydrated while you're shooting, and you're taking like energy bars and stuff to set, and you're just taking really good care of your body while you're doing this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.